cool thing about this little doodad is it records the entire thing for us in audio piece as well as the full video. So you guys will have this full video tomorrow, and again, it'll all be up on one page. So quick demonstration. Obviously you guys can see me in that picture, right? You can make me out. I'm orange, red, and yellow. So everything around me should be blue and black, which means this is set for black, cold, white, hot. So we're looking for blue or black things to kind of move in on their own. Is it the most active tool I have? No, but it's probably the coolest one that I have. It's always nice to have it at the ready. So it will fluctuate based on whatever's inside the screen. So if you take me out, the orange, red, and yellow will start to move in other places because it's always going to find that warmest spot. So really simple. This person who has this is just going to be a camera person all night. So Dale, I think I'm going to go with you on this one. So he's like, oh, really?
Yeah, I don't know why you're giving it to him.
So it's basically just the camera. I mean, well, we won't be able to tell who you are anyway, unless we know your heat signature and the fact that you're shorter than everybody else. So.
Well, you don't see your picture, just your heat. Like looking at him, your face isn't on there.
Right. Exactly. How old are you?
17.
17.
Well, I will be 17 in 2 days.
Okay. Well, happy early birthday then.
Thank you.
So was this something that you wanted to do, or was this something that Mom wanted to do?
This is something Mom said, we're doing this.
Okay. Fair enough. So we're going to be using spirit boxes tonight. Spirit boxes are a way for us to communicate with the dead by means through FM radio stations. So it's kind of like your TV shows where it gives you that white staticky noise, and then Zach Bagans tells you what he thinks he wants you to hear, or whoever your host is. But this one is slowed down a little bit. It's going to sweep through all of the FM radio stations, but the radio chatter will come through. It's what we want. We want to treat this thing as if they're trying to use the DJ to tell us something. In the event you do hear something, because this is going to go to you, yeah, I'm putting you to work. So in the event you do hear something, just let us know what it is. It's a 50-50 shot that it might actually be some type of communication of something that can be related to the place that we're at, a person I'm talking about, so forth and so on. So it's already recording. You guys get this full recording back. The reason why I use this specific device is because it records the entire radio sweep only, so there's no outside noise, and it also records when it's on mute. So right now it's already recording. You're going to get the full recording back in the morning, and it's at a nice even volume level. So you have one button to worry about. It's the volume button at the top. It's a wheel. Okay. You control the volume. That's simple. Obviously when I'm telling stories and kind of going through things, we want to keep it down low. But with a smaller group like this, we're all going to stick together. When I have a full group of 10, they'll be like, hey, you go up this way, you go up that way. Let's explore this location. So, Mom, I got something easy for you.
Wait, will I hear something?
Yeah.
Ew. Ew, that's scary.
So here's what I'll tell you. This is not a scary tool. So for me, the paranormal and dealing with ghosts and spirits is something that I've been doing for so long. Like nothing has ever really truly scared me. So this is not a jump scare type tour. This is not anything along those kind of lines. So the other spirit box we're going to be using is an app on a phone. So the way this one works, let me get it started, is it's going to give us a word from time to time in the center of the screen. This thing is meant to be a game. So in the event we actually capture something out of it that I can relate to, tomorrow morning I give you the link to show you why it was relevant in that specific location. The cool thing is it saves all the words to a list. The last tour I did had 73 entries. We're going to clear them out and start you guys off fresh. And again, just let me know what the words are when you come up. Of course, I'll check in with you and say, hey, let's see that full list again.
Okay.
All you have to do is watch it. Simple.
Okay.
I am going to be using a new tool because I'm still testing it to kind of see what its capabilities are. I actually watched a bunch of YouTube videos before I came tonight. So again, I think this is only the 4th night that I've used it. It's called a Mel meter. So basically what this guy does is it will measure EMF fields, ambient temperature, come on, and also it has a REM pod built in, which basically means
no thanks.
Yeah, definitely hit a no thanks on that. I don't know why it's giving you that. It's a paid version. So the antenna has actually got an EMF field around it. So if something gets close to it, it's going to make a noise. It's kind of like almost like a motion sensor. The closer I get, the brighter the lights get. So if I'm touching it, obviously it's going to be red. So it's going to be within the field that's around the... So again, I don't leave this on the whole time. I only kind of do it in between stories and kind of when I'm testing certain places where I know have a lot of EMF, because I will put an EMF meter on the outside of my bag. We didn't cover COVID stuff, so let's cover that real quick. So thank you all for bringing masks. I don't know what the laws are right now in Wisconsin, but down here, they're absolutely mandatory. You will see me step away for a few minutes and take a break. I have epilepsy, so every once in a while I kind of need a breather. All of your devices have been sanitized. Oh, look at that. Again, nothing I can prove, but it's definitely relatable to what I'm doing. But I sanitize them even if I didn't have a tour the night before, just to make sure everything is clean for you guys. I do have extra masks in case rubber bands break, hand sanitizer, we're covered on all that front. So if you guys pretty much had your masks on the entire time.
Yeah, and we have hand sanitizer too.
So cool. Look at you guys coming prepared. So you'd be surprised how many times I have to fill up that bottle a week on my bag. So, of course, questions, comments, concerns, is this what you guys thought you were getting yourselves into? Dale's like, no.
No, I didn't. My hearing, just so you know, if you ask me something, I don't answer you. I don't hear well, so you don't have to shout. It's just that I may look at these two to
kind of interpret
to pass it up, pass things on to me. If they're otherwise, I don't.
No worries at all. All right, so we started here for a reason, of course, because the place is haunted. So this place used to be called Big John's. Big John was a football player for the 1947 Giants. Excuse me. He used to sit in the back of the bar, and he would tell the bartender if the cadets that were coming over, if they were of legal age to drink. And one night, two guys come in, they're not of legal age. Big John tells the bartender to kick them out. So he does. They come back the next night, and they try to steal the cash register from the front of the bar. So Big John sees what's happening, and they get into a big old bar fight. So it's John versus these two guys. He's pounding these guys into the floor. A couple of shots were fired, and John gets hit in the neck, and the bullet ricocheted and landed in the wall. He gets up, he goes back to the bar, tells the bartender, get me another beer, go get them an ambulance. Now, the funny story about that is nobody died. So what's haunting the place? Big John is dead now. He died many, many years later. It's the bullet hole that ricocheted off his neck and landed in the wall. The bullet hole is allegedly still here. I say allegedly because they're renovating the place. I don't know if they filled it in. So I'll have to verify that once they do.
We're gonna hope.
Oh, we're gonna hope that it's there. So people that sit in the front of the bar where that bullet hole allegedly is, ironically, it's the only place I ever get any kind of EMF field reading. People will get a little dizzy, nauseous, those kind of things. I bring that up on purpose because we are dealing with EMF fields and paranormal activity. If anybody's feeling the slightest bit of headache or queasiness or nauseousness, anything like that, please let me know. It's a big deal. So we will move on pretty quickly. So I do have things in my bag that can help keep us grounded. You guys have to remember this is my job. So I have to make sure everybody's safe. So let's get our minds off our own health. We had a big earthquake here in 1886. Did you guys take any other tours here in Charleston? You guys do that?
Yeah, just the carriage ride.
The carriage ride usually talk about the earthquakes a lot.
She did.
Okay, or the earthquake. We only had one. But apparently this is where the first death occurred. A piece of the mantle broke off in the front of the building, struck somebody in the head, and apparently that's what killed them. I don't have any proof of that. It's just a matter of another grapevine story through the tour guides. So it's another great story just to get your mind off of, you know, the whole health issue. So are you guys ready to go ghost hunting?
We're ready to go.
You ready?
Yeah.
All right, let's head out this way.
Oh, violence. Something violent happened here?
We don't know.
Oh, okay.
Oh, well, I meant with the helicopter.
Oh. And you just said last time was the night of the riots.
Yep. So I would tell you, I did a tour the night of the riots. And my team wanted to go. I had a full team of 10. I gave them the option because there were cops everywhere. We couldn't get to certain locations. They're like, let's do it. I mean, it was crazy down there. 2 nights later, all of the words that came out of the spirit boxes were dealing with the riot. Anger, riot, windows. Obviously, they broke windows. All kinds of craziness. It didn't matter what story I told. It was all about the riot that a few nights before that. It was like the ghosts were pretty pissed off. So, where are we? This is what I call the Big Red Barn Pie. This is kind of a practice area for all of your tools. It is haunted. However, there's not a long history. So this is where we keep the horses for your carriage rides. So this is Palmetto Carriage Works. The horses are inside, so you're going to keep your spirit box at an audible level to you only, because we don't want to spook the horses. So again, if you wanted to jump scare, that's the way to do it, is to crank that thing up and watch them hit the wall. So the only history I have of this building is that this is where we kept the horses that delivered milk to Charleston. Whenever I'm telling you the history of a building, especially with your particular device, you're listening for the key words that I'm emphasizing. So here it's going to be delivery and milk and horses and anything dealing with ponies. So let's talk about spirit boxes, because you each have one. One. Interesting. This is not TV shows. Do you guys watch the ghost hunting TV shows? Do you guys get into that kind of thing?
We haven't too much.
Okay. Well, one of the main things that they do, which is a huge mistake, is they come straight out and say, "Is anybody here?" And if you hear the word no, first off, that means somebody's here. Second, if a real estate commercial comes through and you heard the word houses, you think you heard the word yes. Yes and no are too commonly mistaken for something else. So we're just going to stay away from yes and no questions altogether. So a simple question, kind of think of this whole time with me as a training course. This is kind of your novice level. What color is the barn? You're going to wait 30 seconds or so and see if you get an answer. Obviously, we know the color of the barn is red. So in the event you don't hear the color red, it could be something that is specifically red. Fire truck.
The question on his, though.
Yeah.
He's pointing to the barn, and it's red. There's not a lot of taste, but there's not a lot of color.
And I'm going to go through his next.
Oh, okay.
Because again, this is more of like, I gave you guys devices there. Let's get you show you a little bit more. So in the event you don't get an answer after 2, 3, maybe 4 tries of asking what color the barn is, then you can open it up and say what's inside the barn. Delivery, milk, horses, they're draft horses, hay is related to horses, carriage, anything that relates to what might be inside this barn, or the history of it. So again, it's about putting the clues together. So with your particular device, go ahead and point it back at the barn again so you have mainly one color. Go ahead and leave it there. So watch what happens when my skin temperature gets in view.
Oh, okay.
So you really want to try to keep somebody in view at all times, to make sure you're getting a base level, because my skin temperature is going to be between 97 and 99 degrees, and that'll put a base level and make everything else, because it varies based on the difference in temperature from the highest point. So it's going to be 5 degrees is going to go down to, I guess 5 degrees lower is going to go to orange, and then you're going to go 5 more degrees, it's going to be red, 5 more degrees, it's going to turn into a bluish color, dark blue, then black, and then anything beyond that is going to be 25 degrees plus difference from the hottest point in there. So, I think that about covers it for the devices that we're using. Again, I'll pull out the millimeter from time to time just to kind of test it. I will probably pull the EMF out and put it in the pocket out here just so we can all see it. It kind of helps us determine. I don't get excited with one device going off. So if you get a word that's definitely relevant, like you get the word red, for example, I'm definitely going to be watching the thermal imaging camera and listening in this particular time frame for you guys to, you know what I mean? So I actually have a double reference. It could also be that the EMF meter was going off at that time and you got the color red. So at this point, let's actually see where we're at on the EMF.
So can I think it in my head, or do I say
This is an out loud thing. You can think it in your head if you feel you're that connected. Completely up to you. Okay. But I would definitely go ahead and turn up your spirit box a little bit. We're just going to walk this lot, like maybe make one quick lap before we move on to an actual historical location, so you guys can just get a gist of what your devices do.
Heart.
Heart is usually red.
So smart.
See, this is why you guys hired me.
This is so cool.
I'm the wordsmith. I'm always going to put things together. And again, if something is not relevant, I'm like, yeah, that's kind of a stretch. And I'll put it right in your notes. This is a stretch, but it's interesting. So, again, my gimmick is always going to be honesty, because that's what keeps people booking. I'm not gonna pretend that things are happening when they're really not. This isn't TV. So the wife bought me new cases, and I've been trying to figure them all out. Because now I only have 2 cases that hold everything instead of individuals. So the EMF meter measures electromagnetic fields. Do you guys see it flickering in my bag there? So basically, we are standing on top of a sewer line. So there's no electrical lines anywhere that could be making it go off, which is one of the reasons I like to use that as a base level. So the fact that that's going off and you had the word heart, I'm going to kind of take that and definitely watch and listen in those specific parts of the recording. So see if anything kind of popped up. She thinks it's funny I put you to work.
I just think it's funny you get him the phone.
Well, all he's got to do is hold it. I don't care if he doesn't see anything all night. I'm going to watch it again in the morning. I just need him to be a cameraman. So,
am I supposed to hold on you the entire time?
Or a person.
Or any of us.
Okay.
Any person. So even like, because after our technical first investigation over there, we're going to walk about 3 blocks away to get to the next location and just keep filming. Try to keep that faced the same way horizontally, only because it goes to YouTube, and YouTube doesn't like the flippies. So when we're watching like the first 10 minutes of this, you've kind of flipped it 4 or 5 times, hoping that it's in the camera's on the same side as it was, so that way it's now not upside down for you. Do you see
I think it's on the same way.
Okay.
Yeah. It's all good.
Yeah, he's probably looking at it good now. What I'm afraid of is that it's upside down.
Yeah, well, I didn't realize I was supposed to hold it like this the whole time. So I didn't realize I was supposed to hold it on somebody.
Was this here on this side of your arm? Yeah.
Okay.
You grabbed it from the same way.
We can always stop it and I could splice it together just to make sure that you guys have the right side up. Sorry if I didn't give that warning.
Well, no, it's just I just assumed I just thought I didn't think I was supposed to hold it on somebody the whole time. So
We can.
You can turn your spirit box
let's do that.
Yeah, why don't we trade, because it's not going to work out with that. But I will make sure it works out.
You will thrive.
I will thrive.
You will thrive.
I'm a good camera woman. Okay, Dad, listen out though.
Give the guy
I was just gonna say, do you guys want to swap now? So he just has something to read.
Yeah, give him the reading.
Would that be easier for you?
I don't have to. All I gotta do is read what it says.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's yeah.
Okay.
Give this to dumbass.
Dad, it goes on YouTube.
No, I'm sorry. Okay, Mr. Techno Savvy.
Right.
All right. So let's give that a listen for just a minute or two. You can turn it up a little bit, just so we can. I mean, the horse is going to hear us from over here. And you have the gist of what you're looking for, right? All those blue and black spots to start moving on their own. So also keep in mind, we are very close to Big John's, where we could get teammates.
Come here. What's this thing? Anything?
That's the light.
Oh.
So what I'm more interested in is that black spot over there. So turn back over.
What?
It was black, but again, it's not moving now. It's just kind of fluctuating a little bit. So that would have been more interesting to me than the...
Oh.
Yeah, you're looking for blue and black things.
Okay.
So just to kind of give you a gist, I'll show you a quick video of something I actually caught with that.
I thought it was like an orb.
Well, it's orange, so it's going to be heat.
Oh.
I'm looking for cold. Where is that evidence folder? Really? I swear Facebook changes like every day.
I think I kind of know what you're
There it
talking
is.
about.
So this is going to be our next location we're going to. So the orange that you see going across is a wall. You see the 2 living heads above?
Yeah.
Those are 2 living people. We're going to find the 2 dead people. So they're going to be going the opposite way now. They're going to be going right about there.
Ooh, that's
So
creepy.
this guy right here was always in view. That's why I told Dad, always keep
Yeah,
somebody.
yeah. I got it. I will make sure this works. Yeah, I wouldn't give it to the old man.
Now, last 2 weekends ago, I actually caught 2 pieces of evidence with that. I just haven't clipped them out yet to put them in the evidence folder. All right, did you hear anything crazy yet?
No, just music.
Oh, that's okay. If it's a song lyric and you can make it out, that's cool too.
Yeah, I can't quite make them out.
Okay.
Oh, poetry.
Oh,
It says poetry.
Big John known for his poetry?
No. Let's go learn some real history. What do you think? Now that we have the gist of what your stuff does. So what's the weather doing back home?
It's been in the 60s the last couple of days, but it's not going to go back out. That's way over normal.
I'm originally from Ohio, so I understand snow. But I've been down here for so long now, I don't go up there in the winter.
I grew up in the north central Arkansas. Back in Wisconsin, back in high school. No,
This is the only way in and out.
we got dogs here.
I kind of like
You're
it.
going to see that I love parking lots because A, we can explore. So if you're expecting a sightseeing tour, I'm sorry, this is not it. So this has a lot of significance here for Charleston. You can go ahead and turn that down because there's a lot of details here. This actually used to be home to Eliza and Charles Pinckney. So if you looked at where we were supposed to meet, it was Pinckney and East Bay Street. The Pinckneys, they had a son named Charles, which would have been Charles Coatsworth, and then they had a nephew, Charles. So there's 3 Charles, but the son and the nephew were signers of the Constitution, which is a very big deal because the son was obviously raised here, but I don't like politics, and we just had an election, and Biden was on TV 3 times today, so I'm kind of over politics. So we're going to talk about Eliza. She was way cooler, not to mention it's still Women's History Month. So, in case you didn't know, now you know. Eliza married Charles at a young age. This is a place where it's not going to be like, what color is George Washington's white horse, where you're going to know the answers. I'm not going to give you the answers to a lot of the questions I'm going to kind of give you that you can work with and play with. So Eliza married Charles at a young age. Hopefully you can find out what that age was. But her father thought he was dying over in England, and she didn't want to go home. He wanted all his kids there because he thought he was going to be gone soon. Instead, she got married. She basically said, Dad, I'm not going anywhere. Didn't give her citizenship because this was colonial times, so mid-1700s. So she got married. Dad got better, which means Eliza was right. He starts sending over wedding gifts. Now, the layout of this land was the mansion was in the front. Eliza's garden was over by that tree and came all the way across, and then the slave quarters were in the back. So one of those gifts that Dad sent over happened to be the plant indigo. So you guys have been driving around for a day or two, and you've probably seen that word a few times. Now you know what it is. So it makes blue dye that makes our blue jeans blue. I don't think anybody's wearing indigo tonight. So I normally like, who's got pants on? So, but that's how we still use it today. And it all started right here. Now Charleston already had a history with indigo because of the Gullah culture, which were slaves that came over straight from Africa. I don't know a whole lot about that culture, but Eliza's slaves came from that particular culture. So she learned from them how to keep it cultivated in our very weird temperatures. Obviously, we're not growing massive crops in this type of weather. Our rice plantations were also going downhill. So this was a perfect time for Eliza to swoop in with her indigo and use Dad's contacts overseas to be able to make this a huge cash crop, which is exactly what happened. So they moved the crop. What do you got?
So do I tell you the words? Do I interrupt when I
You
do
can.
the words? Well, we got bright, proud, and retirement.
She never retired, truly, but
He's talking about you.
Liam.
Is that something?
not a
Was
name
there a
that's
William?
no.
Okay.
Is that short for William? Interesting. I never knew that. See there? I'm always learning something. And half the time the tourists teach me stuff because I got to look at all these words in the morning going, how does Liam connect? And find out how Liam connects. But anyway, so there's a lot of weird things about Eliza that we can provoke with questions. Okay, first one obviously is how old she was when she got married, and the reason why that's so significant is because Charles was so much older than her. So I don't care which question you ask her, however you want to ask it, but there was a big age gap. You can ask anything you want to about Eliza's death. So how old she was, what did she die from, where did she die, where is she buried, and which U.S. president was a pallbearer at her funeral. So usually people want to know that because it's very interesting, and I didn't learn that until something that came up on the tours twice, and I was like, there's got to be a connection. So let's see, you can ask what happened to the mansion. That's usually a pretty simple question. You're going to ask about her children. You already know that she had at least one, but only ask the number. There's a tragedy in there, and if we poke too hard, the activity seems to stop. So I haven't looked at the EMF meter yet, but I happen to notice that the light is blinking over there. It doesn't always do that, so I'm going to almost guarantee that my EMF meter is going off as well, because that's a very weak light. Sometimes it's on, sometimes it's not. And so it is going off, and normally what I'll show people is that I'll get a pulse here, which is pretty strong on red, but it'll also give a pulse over there 2 seconds later. It's like whatever's influencing the EMF meter here is influencing it over there as well.
Is that blinking faster now?
That is actually a really great pace. I'm actually, because when it goes off that high, I usually get a lot on the spirit boxes, and hopefully you catch something too. But so I can come back to that just to kind of give you a gist of how that works. So the EMF is going off pretty strong, so whatever, that will be our baseline of one device going off. But yeah, we're going to explore this lot and kind of, I would stay away from, again, the questions with the kids. And if you're going to go back to the slave quarters, I can't prove anything there. So usually we'll get things that come up like cook, a name, like an African name. Kind of. She had more business partners than anything, obviously with a huge cash crop. But just kind of scan the area for you with the camera. I will tell you, some people get a little funny about their cars being filmed. So if somebody's coming by, you're just holding a cell phone at that point. You're not filming anything, because right now you look like you're filming, which is fine. But if somebody comes up to their car, just kind of,
Okay.
be on the DL.
Okay.
So, and even if I was a car thief, like, that would be my perfect tool, because now I know how long these cars have been here.
Yeah.
And also, this is the video that I showed you, happened up in that corner.
Okay.
So.
Okay.
See if there's any movement behind it.
Ask a question.
I am Claire. How old were you when you got married?
Jacob, and now we got 11.
Does that mean anything?
Not to my knowledge, not yet.
Oh, God.
Now we got a Kate.
Does that mean anything?
Would have been a Catherine that was a friend.
Ooh.
So what I'm looking at here, this big number is the same thing that's on the meter over here. This is the ambient temperature being measured here. got that battery pack on the back. And it is Velcro. Like you can hold it upside down and it won't fall off. During the winter months, I run 2 tours a night, so I make sure that that stays charged because it'll fill half the battery. Eliza, I got my new box out again. The metal rod sticking out, so all you gotta do is get close to it. Look at that, it's like, what if the volt up 95 now? Live. Showing him it's very sensitive, so I try to hold it as still as possible. This big number is just like the meter in my bag. That's the temperature based on this guy, and then the lights are going to move based on an interruption in the field being created around us. This device, the finding, is meant to be set up in a room by itself with a camera on it. I don't know how productive it's going to be on like, first hunts like this. If somebody's watching, it's going to be all over the place.
Have you seen anything?
What's nice is the EMF.
You been on that?
Mm-hmm.
Are you over standing by the guys right
Contract.
now?
They had the house built.
Yes.
You can't ask us any questions.
Eliza, can you get close to this? Make it go all the way to red?
I feel like that's
Touch it.
trying to give me an answer there. I didn't have that before.
Make those lights go to red for me.
Can
Argument.
you speak more clearly, Eliza?
Argument with who, Eliza?
Are you around us right now?
Give us a name.
The builder.
Argument with the contractor. I didn't touch it.
Argument. Contractor.
Oh.
Strip.
Touch the middle rod for me, Eliza. It's a yes or no question.
I guess no.
Yeah, it's too easy to mistake the words for something else. It's so simple. It's not an answer. So it's not. That could be circumstantial. What's the temperature you see on your camera?
74.9.
So I want to test something. I just want to test the thermometer. Put the crosshairs on this little yellow guy, like right above it, and tell me what you get.
Like 70.
It says 64.2.
Okay, I'm trying. It says 68.
Okay. Because I know that they're not calibrated, but I'm kind of testing to see. Like I threw this thing in a freezer just to see how quickly it would drop.
68 is the lowest it goes.
Okay. So you're... contracting terms. She had an argument with the contractor over the floor maybe.
Did she die in an argument?
No.
Was she 17 when she got married?
No.
Okay, so far my things are... I thought I heard 17 and I heard Republican when...
You heard Republican?
Republican was when I asked about who was the pallbearer for.
Well, Republican refers to the husband. He was actually part of the Jeffersonian Republican Party.
Oh.
So
Okay.
a lot of times I'll hear the word Jefferson in this location too. And that's how actually I learned that. I typed in Jefferson and Pinckney, and voila. Charles Pinckney was part of the Jeffersonian Republican Party.
I heard, when I asked who was the pallbearer, I heard Republican.
I'm actually going to look up to see what that president was.
My guess would be that at that time of the time frame that she would have been 12, 13, maybe 14 when she got married.
Nope. She was actually probably considered an old maid.
Oh?
Was she 15?
Oh! Workshop we just got.
It seems very interesting that all of these terms around the house.
Was William Taft the, is that his name?
No.
Still getting William in there.
No, it's interesting. This particular president was not in a political party. It was not a bipartisan issue, apparently.
Importantly, that's importantly.
Yeah. Remember, 80% of that doesn't mean anything. It's meant to be a game. It's the other 5 to 20% that I can struggle with those guys. Still nothing weird. By the way, if that red square turns to a circle, just let me know. That just means you tapped it by accident. And I'll have to splice your video together. What else?
Die in childbirth?
No. Did you hear childbirth?
No.
Are you guessing?
No, I asked it to make the static louder after I asked the question. I said you can die in childbirth, make the static louder. I'm trying to go with the static.
Sure.
Because I can't hear any words.
Okay, and that's okay. That's why we record it. When you listen to it through a computer or phone, it's a lot different than in real time. This speaker isn't very voluminous.
Yeah.
So when I listen to it on a computer, I normally have headphones on so I can listen close.
Okay.
White.
What was it?
White.
White?
Wipe.
Like,
That's what we use on our hands all the time.
Wipe the floor.
refugee.
Pleasant.
My EMF meter is still going on. But again, this measures 3 different cycles. So I like the other one too.
Did Eddie text you back? Did Eddie text you back?
What?
Did Eddie text you back?
Oh, I don't know. Let me check.
No, Daddy, no. You'll see all kinds of fun things on there, but they want to make it scary. Oh, I see you Googling.
No, I'm seeing if okay, Eddie said okay.
Okay.
This is our taxi guy.
Oh, gotcha.
I just want to make sure if she just
So,
went.
did you guys actually use a taxi or did you call an Uber?
No,
Compound.
A lot.
I got compound. I got no, refugee.
You got no.
No.
I was asking how many children, and then the song came on and said, I don't want to talk in this.
I told you there was a tragedy with those kids.
There was?
One of them. That's why I usually say, if you're going to ask about the kids, only ask home ec. Otherwise, it can get pretty ugly pretty quick. I've seen this EMF meter when somebody was poking around that tragedy, like literally go back to green and nothing else happened the rest of the night. Like, and you guys see it's been going crazy all night. I've seen it dozens of times. Somebody wants to walk away, what happened with your so-and-so? And it makes her mad. She don't want to talk about it. It makes her upset.
Eliza.
Behind me.
Eliza.
Get over my left shoulder.
Come on, Eliza. You got a queen. No. She said, I'm camera
You
shy.
guys ready for some answers? Of
Yes.
course, she starts running out of names.
I'm listening as careful as I can.
So, Eliza was 70, so that's 17 that you heard earlier. Could have been 70.
She was 70?
No, when she died.
Oh,
When she died, not got married.
I was going to say.
As far as her marriage goes, she was 22. The regular marrying age at that time would have been 17.
But I did hear something.
But it didn't.
Okay.
Charles was 45, so there was a 23-year age difference between them. I'm going to be listening for things wrapped around Charles just because you did hear Republican. So if the word October shows up, any of the treaties that he signed, what his position was, which he was a governor, like any of those things I'm going to be looking at and listening for just because you had that one clue, so I'm going to be listening for more. But she died at the age of 70 in Philadelphia from breast cancer in the late 1700s, 1793.
Wow.
So we're going off of medical records, of course. So she went up there for treatment. Apparently she also died there, and then she was buried there, and it was George Washington who was the president as the pallbearer.
Oh,
So that tells you how important she was to, obviously, the colonies. But I've been getting the word wood here a lot. So when you ask about the president, the word wood will show up. I got that twice last week alone. George Washington had wooden dentures. So he was known for his wooded teeth. Let's see what else. The mansion did burn down in 1861. Obviously, long past Eliza and Charles' death, but it was still in the family. And we've had dozens of fires. I don't even know what caused it, but it did go from peninsula coast to the peninsula coast. There's the word died. And hopefully we get it said died. We're talking about her death. So she needs to tell us what she died from. If you get the word cancer on there, I'll get excited. So let's see what else. Mansion burned down. She had 4 children, 3 sons and 1 daughter.
I got a 4.5. Someone said 4.5.
Okay, we'll take it. Now, some nights she'll tell us 3, only because one of those sons didn't make it past infancy. The ironic thing here is that the son's name was George, and she named that infant after her father. So we have 3 Georges we're dealing with. Her father, her son that didn't make it, and George Washington. So the George Washington bit came up because I literally heard George Washington on your spirit box twice in 1 week. Why would that even be said on the radio? So again, I was like, there's got to be a connection here. That was just a few months ago.
So there is 4 children but 1 passed?
Correct. So sometimes we'll get the number 3, sometimes we'll get 4. It just depends on how Eliza feels that night. So this also begs the question of why don't we go to cemeteries? First off, you're walking through one giant one of Charleston because we've had enough tragedy here that there's death everywhere. But if you were dead, are you going to hang out where you're buried? No, you're going to go to the places that you love. This woman died and was buried in Philadelphia and comes down here to give me answers and questions. So, what'd you get?
I got bit. I just got bite on here too.
Ew, we were talking about if we were getting bit by bugs. I asked him if we got...
you were itching kind of like...
No, I got a... in my eye.
Ooh, that's
My
creepy.
eye hurts. Like I get mascara in my eyes.
Okay. Yeah, these masks are horrible. I hate them. All right. I think that about... Did you ask anything else that I might be able to give you the answer for? That I might know off the top of my head. I'm going to be looking into that Jacob for sure, and Kate, because I want to say there was a Catherine that was really good friends of Eliza, and she lived nearby.
Oh.
So.
Well, he had all the construction stuff.
Yeah. So I got to look to see if there was anything problems with the construction of the house, because they did build it, you know, themselves. But we're going to be walking up East Bay Street, about, like I said, 3-4 blocks to go to our next haunted location. It is Lodge Alley. If you're going to listen to your spirit box with a small group, people normally don't. We'll let it record. I'm listening for names, and I'll explain why once we get there.
Well, we just got Awake, and we just got Garrett.
Garrett?
Garrett.
Like a last name, Garrett?
First name. Or, well, I guess that time it could be last name.
Yeah. Interesting. We'll dive into that too. Man, you're giving me a lot. Obviously, keep filming once we get there. If you guys are watching the EMF meter as we walk, it's going to go crazy because of the parking meters. So we can pretty much ignore it until we get there because the electrical lines underneath the sidewalks will make it go off. But yeah, let's take a walk up there and you guys can ask me a million questions. Because we got like a 3 to 4 minute walk.
Thank you, by the way.
Oh, yeah.
I'll find a lot more.
It's got the base. Base.
Again, more stuff dealing with the house. Watch your stuff. What you got?
What's the stuff?
So have some fun for you guys to go through it. We're recording about 6 hours worth of data. I'm going to go through it for about 2. So I'm just going to kind of skim through that there. I obviously focus on this location and any other locations that we stop at. Markers of what I found, and then you get to go through the whole thing and find whatever you find. It's all about you discovering more. Same thing with the video. I'll kind of skim through it and talk about it. If I don't see anything, I'll tell you guys if I do. You know, let me know what you guys do. And obviously you have my contact info if you do find it. The bag is filled with lasers and all kinds of crazy cameras. I have another spirit box in here. It just doesn't record. I normally give that to 2 people. That way they can verify what they heard.
I'm glad I got the sweatshirt.
Oh, I'm glad you got it too.
Was it open?
They were just kind of starting to tear down.
I'm just wondering what time this stuff can do that. Like you guys have the one garage that I park at is really close to the entry, so I probably just want to pass it. So we're spending a lot of time here. You only have 13 colonies, so you used up there pretty well. Why do you think that's so well? There was one period of time where he spent like 10 or 11 days here. And it was all documented, and most of it was with the fingers. Like most of it was meal time with them.
Any words?
No, still just big.
Yeah, I get calls and text messages like 6 months later. It's like, hey, I found this in my data. Like, you gotta give me the date because I can't, I don't remember.
I know, I just hurt myself.
Yeah, I get that all the time. And that's why, like, when it's just the first thing and then he was like,
I know, it's packed.
about file management. Keeping everything straight. And as a writer, I'm already on the computer most of the time anyway. I'm working on number 8. So my 8th book will be out at the end of this year. It's the pieces for my master's program. So that'll be the rough draft, and the first edit will be done by July or February. But I'm going to probably go through another editing process. And then I'll give my wife some time to finish up the cover. She does all my cover work and all that stuff. So that'll hopefully be out by October. That's my goal. They're all really, that's where I thought they do. I do everything myself because I don't like to pay extra people. So,
Are they under your name or are they all stories?
all of them are underneath my name, but one of them, which we're starting the pseudonym of Nick Knight, just making it so much easier to remember than Nicholas McGurr. So, yeah, we're going with Nick Knight. So, my last book was published under Nick Knight. The one I'm working on now is going to be under Nick Knight.
My feet hurt so bad.
My shin, too.
I know. The bottom of my. I know. The bottom of my feet hurt so bad.
Fairly.
Fairly? Mm-hmm. Too many adjectives for me.
Fairly close.
Yeah, I'm originally from Ohio.
Oh, okay.
So I moved to South Carolina about 9 years ago.
Okay.
But I've been in Charleston for about 5.
RIP. R.I.P.
Oh,
Rest in peace.
So we're going to stop here so I can kind of give you the gist of what this place is. This is a quiet area, so we'll be very brief. This is Lodge Alley. When we crossed that last crosswalk, we crossed over to the original Charlestown walls. So now we're in the original city. This would have been one of the first streets that we had. People used to live here. So these 2 buildings that you see on the side, they weren't here. The reason why I said we're going to be listening for names during that time frame is because I had the full list of residents.
Beach.
Would have been beach at the edge. I have the full list of residents and their occupations of every person that ever lived here. So the names I get often here are Benjamin and John. There weren't a whole lot of people that lived here, but Benjamin and John were 2 people that lived here in 1801. 2 weeks ago, maybe 3 now, I had 2 different spirit boxes running. They both heard the name Johnson on the way here. The John I just spoke of, his last name was Johnson, John Johnson. Not to mention there was an Alexander that lived here as well. So it's very interesting when things pop up twice. So if we get something, I'll definitely give you the link so you guys can see the names for yourself. The Masons also used to meet here, so the word Mason has been showing up on your spirit box quite a bit in this location. I don't know a whole lot about that history here. They just did that before the people lived here. So, again, we're going to be brief here. So when we walk through the rest of this alley, we're going to be in a neighborhood. So we're definitely going to be just 4 people walking through, because tour guides are not allowed to be tour guides in residential areas. So I won't be allowed to tell you any history or anything like that. It's kind of an odd thing. We're allowed to pass through, but weird laws. So even though we're actually ghost hunting, I have to follow tourism laws until we get to our next stop. Have you seen anything weird coming up through here? Because I do get a lot of weird lights that come through here. This yellow building you guys see, this is all Lodge Alley. It's obviously named after Lodge Alley. But every hotel down here has a claim of a ghost, but they don't give me free rooms to verify. So I'll have to start paying for them. Funny is I was actually planning my trip to St. Augustine. I got invited to a pretty large ghost hunt with a podcast that I listened to. And I was getting ready to be interviewed for that podcast based on what I did here. And I have a podcast too. It's all my own investigation. He said that it's pretty close to St. Augustine if you thought about coming down. I thought about it. So, anyway, this is about Florida in September.
We actually went to St. Augustine before we were married. The bed and breakfast that we stayed in, but I don't remember the name of it, supposedly haunted. That's one of the reasons we stayed there.
Yeah.
What like happened at those hotels or those bed and breakfasts that say they're haunted?
Which one?
When we were passing by, that you said, like right down there.
Oh, that's where people lived.
Yeah, I know, but you said like hotels. They said that they were haunted.
Oh,
Oh.
I don't have a whole lot of info, but they give me specific rooms. They don't have like a full history behind it. Each hotel's different. So, but that particular one is room 304.
Mhm.
That's haunted, and I've had their salespeople on my tours, and they'll confirm like weird things happen there.
Mhm.
So I just have to rent out number 304, see what I get. And then I usually look up the histories later. So I like to go in blind, so I don't know what to expect.
Mhm.
The 3 of us did. The 3 of us walked by here earlier. Almost there.
It's completely dead now. It'll start picking up again when the parking meters get full.
Very.
Very. Tours aren't allowed down there. I don't know what that is. It used to be a hot tourism spot.
Okay.
But there's a big ghost story down there.
Right.
What's interesting is when you look at it as a whole, like the next day, and things start to make sense. You can almost put sentences together.
Sure.
Happens often. When I was doing ski tours at night, a lot of times those tours, they would link.
Okay.
Because obviously I'm going to the same location. So something might link to something that you had told me from the previous tour. So the two will link together.
Is it pretty safe to walk almost anywhere in Charleston?
So if you walk from King Street at night, it's a little shady towards Midtown.
Does it?
Yeah, but for the most part, I mean, if you can ignore the panhandlers, it's pretty good. Okay, walking down here at night,
Oh, okay.
perfectly safe. You go down to the water, like there's a pier. I don't know if you guys seen the by Pineapple Park.
We were bowling. We were getting on a sailing tour yesterday. Do you remember Pineapple Park? Yeah, I don't.
Mom
Sounds
wouldn't
familiar.
either.
I like to stop here and point something out, and I want to see what Mom's been listening. Did you hear anything?
I heard back there something like he came from the other side. Seriously. But I didn't catch all of it. I mean, like,
So let me explain that one first, and then I'll get into all because there's a lot. This is normally a very popular area.
Compare before you start.
Interesting. So there's two sides of this cemetery. This is St. Philip Cemetery. This side is for natives only, native Charlestonians. Everybody else goes to the other side. John Calhoun, sorry, 17th president. They picked up his sarcophagus, which was very heavy, and had to move it several times. He came from the other side because he's not from here. They moved
they
him to
told
the
us
other
that.
side.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah, they told us
So
the story.
very interesting that you found that and that it's connected there.
Yeah, that's interesting.
That's really cool because
Yeah.
the sarcophagus isn't light. So, can you pull up the rest of the words and let me see what you got while this tour passes? Garrett. So you can see how large the groups are. So everybody goes up there. You can kind of turn it down. Everybody likes to go up straight up to St. Philip's because that's the part of the cemetery, and they like to do the sightseeing thing. Did you guys notice that the light that was just over the cemetery? It's going to go on again here in a minute. But what that light is meant to do is to stop people like me from taking pictures and filming things because there's a ghost story there. There's a sign right inside the wrought iron gate that says there's no ghost here but the Holy Ghost. The reason for that is the story is of Sue Howard Hardy. She died 6 days after her stillborn child in 1888. 1987, we had a local photographer.
The lamp. He was just talking about the light.
Please.
So she's hanging out. So hopefully we get the name Sue come up too. So 1987, photographer's taking pictures. He captures a full apparition. Now, it's got a baby basket next to this woman wearing a shawl. This is 1987. No cell phones, no Photoshop. So you're only 17. So Kodak was a company where we actually had to make film.
Okay.
But he sends it to Kodak to try to debunk the picture. They can't do it either. So I don't show the picture. Other tour guides might. It's cursed. So as you can imagine, very superstitious. Females that hold it will get the same symptoms I talked about back at Big John's. And that's if you're handling the picture. So your cell phone, if you look her up, Sue Howard Hardy, it's on your phone, you're handling the picture. Females that are pregnant are not going to have a good pregnancy. So you can imagine, I'm not showing the picture. I'm not getting a phone call 9 months from now. Somebody remembers that I told them this horror story. So
our 17-year-old ends up pregnant. We'll be like,
Oh, gee.
she touched the
Oh,
picture.
God.
yeah, she touched the picture.
Please.
But yeah, that's what they all like to look at up there. Don't get me wrong, and it's an absolutely gorgeous church. And you can actually walk through the other side, the western side of the cemetery during the daytime. It's usually open to go see Calhoun's, sarcophagus above ground. But this side, they've been working on it for at least a year now, so I haven't been able to get in there and kind of see what's going on. But yeah, there's a lot of ghost stories here. Do you guys see the burning gas lamp off in the distance? See the flickering? So that's the pirate house. So that's on the exact opposite side of the cemetery. The cemetery actually goes up that way. So that's where Blackbeard's men used to come in off their ships, meet with the ladies, have a few drinks, have a place to stay, and they dug a tunnel from the pirate house over to Dock Street Theater, which goes this way. So it's exactly 1 block away. Dock Street Theater is one of the top 10 haunted locations in America. Have I gotten anything there? You haven't. Let's go find out. I've been through it several times. I don't get much there. Now they say that there's 2 ghosts that haunt the place. The first one is connected to St. Philip's. There was a young lady in the 1800s that worked here by the name of Nettie Dickerson. Now Nettie was past the marrying age of 17, like we talked about earlier. She was 23. She's an old maid. Nobody wanted her. But she's seen all the prostitution that was going on down at Planters Hotel, which is what Dr. Gator used to be. All the pain. So she...
Oh, poor Susan.
Yeah, right? So she... Well, don't call her Susan. She'll correct you. It's happened before. I called her Susan for months, and then I kept getting Sue. I'm like, all right, I'll get the story right. So Nettie buys a red dress, and she goes down to Planters, and she gets herself a job. She's the best loved girl in the whole place. But she's still not happy.
Oh, she had too much pain.
She squats to the 2nd story balcony and ponder about coming back to the church. One night, the priest sees her out there. He goes to talk to her about coming back. He's out on the balcony with her. Storm rolls in. Lightning strikes the rod iron banister that she's leaned on. Now she's dead. Here's the interesting thing about her death. I know my stories are very abrupt. Now she's dead. But they say when you see Nettie's ghost, it's from the knees up only. Well, you can only see her from the knees up. Because when we renovated, that's interesting.
What?
I'll tell you why I think the place is haunted here in a second. Oh, it is.
Oh,
So
yeah.
I'm married.
Was Sue or Nettie?
Sue was married, but Nettie was
No, we're
married.
talking about a new girl. Nettie.
Nettie got her.
Yep, I'll take it.
Yeah.
That's good. I don't
She's
think
in
I've
a
ever
lot
seen
of pain because she had electrocuted.
her. Yeah. Well, no, they say you could see her from the knees up because when we renovated Dock Street Theater, we raised the 1st floor ceiling. So she's walking on the 2nd floor that she knows. So you can only see her from the knees
Oh.
up.
Puts
So
her
it
off.
took a nerd like me to figure out the construction of the building and why we can't see how short she is. The pressure.
What did she say?
Getting married. That's a lot of good stuff.
Being stuck between the 1st and 2nd floor.
Or the pressure of getting married. They say she was
Yeah, that
actually
one.
pretty bold, but she actually used to go to church even though she was sleeping with all of the husbands around town. And she would sit there in her red dress at church. Like she was that bold about it. She didn't care.
Queen.
Yeah. So, those are all the crazy stories from this corner. Our last investigation is actually across the street, and it's a pretty good one. It's something new to the tour. Now, I was just telling Dale the alley that we walked past. Oh, I forgot to tell you why we stopped here. So that alley that we walked past is called Philadelphia Alley now, but it used to be called Dueler's Alley. So that's where duels would occur. So the doorway you see over there is if there was a loser in the duel, meaning he's dead, they would bring him through that doorway over the courtyard, over to the cemetery, and they would drop him and then go celebrate the winner. So there's a big, long doctor story there. We're not allowed to go down there anymore. It is gorgeous. I don't know what that other tour was doing. He knows he's not allowed down there. And I kind of provoked that. Because every tour used to go down there. But I think I made the new neighbor mad. We're getting good stuff, man. Stuff I don't see often. That Ms. I'm really excited about the MS.
When we moved the two, no, we moved the surprise, but they bumped them in.
Yep. I'll be honest, I'm super excited about the Ms. because that signifies that she's unmarried. Like, that's probably our biggest piece yet. Uh-oh.
Serve.
She was serving something.
She was serving looks in that red dress.
Yeah. Let's go learn about some pirates.
Okay.
Ooh.
Now, are we over by where
We actually have plenty of time. I can probably fit in that the dueling tour that we need to tell.
Oh, careful.
Because my groups are a little bit noisier, I try to stay away from the other groups and let them do their storytelling. So the story we used to tell of the big duel, it's another Philadelphia story. Remember, she died in Philadelphia. So Philadelphia connects to Charleston quite a bit. But there was a doctor that was supposed to move here. His name was Dr. Joseph Brown Ladd. Sorry, I don't tell this story often
I was
anymore.
hoping it was Anthony.
Hey,
No.
I had a Joe back there.
A Jill?
Joe.
Joe.
And I said, was the guy's name Joe or Joseph?
But that was way over at
Yeah, but that was, okay,
We'll see if Brown comes up somewhere.
okay,
If Brown comes up, I'll be excited.
okay.
So, his name is Joseph Brown Ladd. He's supposed to get married to his fiancée, Amanda. Amanda, this is in New Jersey. Amanda just inherited a bunch of money from her dead parents. The lawyer handling that money, she's like, I can live with that. She
I'm
did
like,
that,
okay. What?
Low. That's what she is.
It was
She's
low. So the attorney handling the money told her to send the doctor away. I think he's just after your money. Let's have him start his practice somewhere else and see what happens. So he comes to Charleston. The coachman that brings him into town set him up to be robbed and killed. The doctor's dressed pretty well, so it would have been an easy kill. You take all his money and run off.
Center.
That would have been in the center of town. So it was like mid-town. So there was somebody walking by named Ralph Isaacs, another attorney who lived here, saw what was going on, and he stopped it. He told the doctor, come with me. I got a better place for you to stay. He's setting you up. The two obviously become friends, and he sets him up at 59 Church Street. This is Church Street. So it's called Church Street because when they widened the road, by the way, St. Philip's was the only building they couldn't move. This used to be Dock Street, for Dock Street Theater. So, but anyway, he takes him to 59 Church Street, which is about a mile that way. So, two become friends, but yet the doctor, he's starting to make more money. He's moving up in the hierarchy of Charleston. So he becomes known as the Whistling Doctor because he's proving that he really wants Amanda to move down here. So she's going to be moving down soon, he's making lots of money, and he's doing well. So they go see plays together, him and this Ralph Isaacs, but the doctor has better seats because he makes more money. So they talk about the plays on the way home. They start arguing about the play they saw, which was William III, and the doctor loves the new actress. Yeah, we did. The doctor loves the new actress, but Ralph does not. They start arguing, and then it starts to be an insult party on the doctor's fiance. Obviously, they get very angry with each other and go their separate ways. Now, Ralph is from here, so he has ties to the newspaper. He calls the newspaper and puts an ad in the paper telling the city what a disgrace this doctor is to the city. He's not from here, he charges too much, yada, yada, yada. The doctor sees it, says, let's go settle this in Dooler Valley. So they calm down, they take the 20 paces, they turn, the doctor points his gun in the air and he shoots. He didn't want to kill his friend. He just wanted to prove a point. However, Ralph still has one shot. He takes it out on the kneecap of the doctor. He didn't die, so he didn't go through the death gate that I pointed out. His friends carry him home to 59 Church Street and he dies 10 days later. So they say as you walk through the alley at night, you can hear the whistles from the doctor and or the gunshots. So this was a piece where spirit boxes were off and everybody's following me because I have the recording. So they're always listening for this particular part of their tour. But I've gotten a word alley, I've gotten gunshots, I've gotten all kinds of evidence from down there. I was so mad when I couldn't go down there anymore.
Shut that down.
So I added this place to the tour. So this is the Powder Magazine. This is where our pirate story comes in. First off, did anybody explain earthquake bolts to you? On the carriage tour, maybe? Did they point out some earthquake bolts? Okay, so earthquake bolts are generally, because of our big earthquake in 1886, they went around to certain buildings and they put rods through either the roof or through the floors of the buildings. So, and then they'll decorate them with lions and pineapples and all kinds of things. Those were the first set of earthquake bolts that we put in. See the crosses? Those are wrought iron bars. So they're kind of weathered. You'll see once we get closer, but that's what those are. There's actually a bolt in the center where the crosses meet. So it's meant to hold the building together in the event we get another earthquake. But it is the Gunpowder Magazine. It is literally the oldest building we have on the East Coast. It was finished in 1713, and it has served in 7 different wars. Now, they moved gunpowder a lot, and it held a lot of gunpowder. So, remember I told you about the Charlestown walls? This was the road where the Charlestown wall came up. So it went literally about one more block up and then jutted down towards the battery. So this is literally in the corner of the Charlestown walls. We're also 3 blocks away from the water.
What?
Senate.
Did we even have a Senate in 1713? I don't know. I'll have to look into that. But the reason for that is because the walls are 32 inches thick, so if it were to get attacked, there's sand in the roof. It would blow the sand up and then it would drop to put out the fire. Well, that theory doesn't work because we had another powder magazine near the battery and allegedly it blew up. So the building is still here. It was never attacked. But there is sand in the roof from 1712. It is still there. The sand does not disintegrate.
Wow.
So very cool place. So, I mean, it's like really cheap to get in there too. So during this
We
time,
should try to go there for if we have time.
Well, that's what the place the tour guide said to go to if you get the chance.
yeah,
Yeah, it's like $6 to get in
yeah.
or something.
I have a season pass for 9. So I go in and out as I please. But anyway, the time period.
November.
Was it in
I don't
November?
get excited about a whole lot of stuff. So let me get into the story, and this will make perfect sense. So that's very exciting. Very exciting. So during the time period that this building was being built, a young lady moved to town with her father. Her name is Anne Cormack. Now, Anne Cormack was from Ireland. Her dad had an affair with the maid. So that's Anne's mother. So to get away from his wife, he picked up his mistress and the daughter and moved here, all the way from Ireland. So that was in 1708, 1709. So as this building's being finished in 1713, Anne's becoming a teenager. We have pirates coming to town. She falls in love. So his name is James Bond. Dad doesn't approve because he's a pirate, so they move to Jamaica. They get married. Anne Cormack is now Anne Bond. So this is all really cool. I can't wait for the ending because that's going to make perfect sense. So she gets down there, but James isn't the pirate that she hoped him to be. He turns into a privateer, which basically means he's a spy for the British. So she wanted a Johnny Depp time. Like, right? So she finds another pirate. His name's Calico Jack. Calico Jack is young, he's up and coming, and he just got his first ship. She wants to be part of it. So what does she do? She tells Jack, because we're already lovers, I want to be part of the crew. He says, okay, but you know females are curses to pirate ships. You gotta dress like a man. So she does. To be part of the crew, she has to dress like a guy, but to be in his quarters, she's a female. So obviously being a quarter and a female in the quarters of the captain, she eventually gets pregnant. Keep in mind, she's still married to James Bond. So, what's Calico Jack do? He drops her off in Cuba to go have the baby, to hide the fact that he had a woman on the ship, so that way she wasn't showing. Seemingly. Now, here's the funny thing. Seemingly a male, right?
Oh.
So, she goes back to the ship dressed like a female. She doesn't care about her gender anymore. She doesn't care what Calico Jack says.
Wow, you're getting lots of words now.
Yeah.
Game.
I'm telling you, we're going to get a ton. And this is also where I captured more stuff that I told you a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
This was the location on your camera. So, she goes back to the ship. We don't know where the baby is, by the way. We have no clue what happened to that baby. Calico Jack's mad at her. She decides she's going to go down below deck and flirt with the prisoners that he captured while she was away. So this person that she was flirting with was doing the exact same thing that she was doing. This was a female dressed like a male to be part of a pirate crew. This person reveals her gender. Her name is Mary Reed. Now Anne and Mary are friends, and she convinces Mary to become part of the crew. So she does so. They're dressed like females. They don't care. Everybody else is down below deck. They get... Poem actually goes to Joseph Brown Ladd in the alley because he wrote a book of poetry about his life in Charleston. So if you get something else along with that, I'm telling you, this is a good night for us. I'm excited. So the British come in. They invade the ship. Everybody else is drunk down below deck. It's Anne and Mary taking on the entire British fleet.
Oh
Obviously, the ship gets taken. So all the pirates below deck are tried and hung for piracy. And then a week later, November 28th, it's Anne and Mary's turn because they fought back. They were the only 2 pirates that fought back. So their trial says...
November.
Finger.
Apparently... I could link that, but that's weak.
Did they give them the finger when they
No.
got them?
So they reveal their genders, and the judge, Nicholas Laws, does not care that they're female. He still tries them and convicts them for piracy, but then they pled their bellies, which means that they both claimed that they were pregnant, which delayed their hanging. So Dad here in Charleston has money. He bails out Anne out of jail. So apparently she lived to the age of 84.
Did I hit something off?
Yep.
I didn't think I moved anything.
It was charged. No.
Did
I
it
pulled this off the charger before I left.
did it die?
It died. It is completely dead.
Alright, well, we still have other
Yeah, we still got other stuff. Alright,
Okay.
so
Anne
And-
didn't like that.
Dad brings her back. She lives to 84. Mary dies in the Jamaican jail from whatever pirates die from in a Jamaican jail. Use your imagination. There's a lot of holes in this story, but November 28th is significant. Reason why I'm always going to remember that date, I started doing this part of the tour after I got yelled at over there and started coming over here, November 28th, 2020. I got the number 300 that night. I had the word trial. I had the word save my child. Like, I had every clue. I'm like, I didn't even believe this story until that night. So, We're gonna get closer to that building. We're gonna see what else comes up on your word list, and based on the lack of the spirit box, we're gonna maybe spend 5 to 8 minutes here. 10, 15. So we can spend 15 and wait for your taxi if you'd like. But I'm super excited. That Ms. That's a big one. Poetry. We actually had poetry and poem, did we not?
Yeah, poetry. That's what I thought. We had poetry and poem.
Now it wants to work.
That's weird because it just went completely dead over there.
Yep.
Like, just stopped. And I knew I didn't turn anything off.
So you're going to have 2 recordings from this, if I can get it to record. It is
Yes.
acting really funny.
Yeah, we did have poetry.
Yeah, I thought so.
Playback.
Nope, don't want it to do that.
Xbox.
And it was weird, I just pulled it out of my pocket.
It was fine. And I was making it go loud and soft listening, and then it just went completely dead. And I'm like, I didn't push a little button.
Okay, so I have 2 recordings. This is the pay meter.
Yeah, no, I was just looking at it. I mean, it's just interesting how that's all changed.
Yeah. Oh, oh. I don't normally get anything here. Was it something in my bag? Can't be. There's nothing on in my bag. Like, I normally don't get anything here. I mean, there's electrical lines for the meter, of course, but I'm way too far away. That's just from me bumping it. It's crazy. There's earthquake bolts in that apartment building too. You see the squares on every floor? Those are earthquake bolts too. We still put them in. Just fearful of that damn earthquake taking us out. You can probably turn that up a little bit if you want to.
Turn it up.
Yeah, you can.
Yeah, we can maybe do this tomorrow.
Yeah, if you want to. I'm in.
Whoa, look at like this.
Yeah, worldwide.
What?
Worldwide.
Worldwide? They went to Jamaica, they went to Cuba. They
Oh,
went
we got
Latin America.
we got cheat
worldwide.
again.
Oh,
Cheat?
We got cheat.
cheat.
Well, she did cheat on her husband.
What does that mean?
Means I was moving too fast.
Okay.
2076.
Anything by
Nothing
mom?
matches up.
February of 76, maybe?
I'm gonna find out when she died, allegedly. 76 would actually make sense, because she was 84, they say, when she died. And I want to say she was born in the 1690s.
Did you say 45 or 30 months? Did you say 45 or 30 to Eddie?
10:30.
April 22nd, 1782. What did you hear? 2076?
2075.
No, you said 6.
6
I think.
276.
That doesn't.
0276.
Nope.
Let's get it. See you then.
Ew. Ooh. That's so scary.
Not even close to her birth date either.
So bad.
Yeah, this is 1782 as well.
Give me a name. Just give me a name. Not those names.
Ghosties.
Get out of their way. So that way you guys can at least see the front of the building. Kind of. Let's go get some film of the front.
Is that a tour?
Yeah. Oh, he's gonna go over there.
Any ghosties on them?
Organized.
They
Organized.
were organized because they were in Nassau, where the big pirate hideout was.
Yeah, this is 1680. Started way back over where we did over at St. Michael's.
During Halloween, I did bring a cake. I could just get a bed sheet going on. A friend of mine, she's off dressed up in a wedding dress.
Boots. Boots. Absolutely.
Wisconsin, sure.
My necklace is all tangled, Mom.
When did we give him the address?
Testing the new guy around what I know should give me something.
Great, you slime juice on it?
So don't let the pillory kind of fool you. Nobody was punished here. They never used this as a jail. It's been a museum, a textile, a mercantile. Now it's a museum. Like I said, it's a short little 30-minute tour when you take the tour in here. But it's great to use the lasers in here and get pictures. You know what I mean? So the person that has my lasers, it's great to bring them to the front. I do have a little bit of a spike here with EMF, which is interesting. But yeah, it's definitely a cool museum to see, especially if you're in the
You
woods.
just leave it and let me get it later.
Mm-hmm. Could you?
It's 1713. We do have a house older than this. So the pink house is 1 year older. There's no official record that it was finished in 1712. So it wasn't like, I guess, officiated by the city. But they're, you know what I mean? But the pink house is an interesting place too. I've got all kinds of weird stuff just walking by it. But again, in a neighborhood, not allowed to take people there. At night anyway. If I did a ghost hunting tour during the daytime, I probably wouldn't sell many tickets. But I can go anywhere I wanted to.
Can you go in that alley in the daytime?
Yeah.
In the Philadelphia alley?
Yeah, I think it's past 6 p.m.
Okay.
There's no tours allowed down there. Again, I don't know what that guy was doing down there. He probably just doesn't know. But yeah, I used to take people to a building on East Bay Street called the Wagner Building. It's right across from the Vendu, which is really close to Pineapple Park, actually. But it's got a story where there was a hanging, like the guy hung himself in there, and the thermal imaging camera, like the windows would go cold, colder than the others. You hearing anything crazy?
No. I see Eddie there.
Oh, cool. Well, I guess we will wrap this up then.
There you go.
Perfect.
Oh my God.
Moran. That's weird. I don't see how that's relevant here. But you guys did great. I'm super excited about some of the
Anything on
terms.
it?
Great, thank you. This is very exciting.
Yeah, this is really cool.
So at the top of your page, I'm going to get you guys my card. You're going to find all of the apps and everything that I use and all the tools.